I've talked about this before, but I have a dedicated video. It's a compilation video that I published in the middle of February. So I don't know, a couple months ago now. And in that video, I featured at least 8 clips of the president speaking about this $2,000. Now, to be fair, he hasn't talked about it in a little while. He's got, other things that are going on right now that are, probably pretty important as well. So I haven't heard anything out of the president about this lately, but he has mentioned it many, many times, okay? But I just want to throw this out there super, super fast, which is this. Remember, yes, the president talked about the $2,000 dividend payment, but also remember, just in the last, call it, I'm going to say 2 months again, we've seen multiple proposals that have been released that would distribute thousands of dollars to individuals and, again, thousands and thousands of dollars to households through multiple different proposals. Let me just rattle the names off for those really quickly. And again, because my point with this is that, again, we could see $2,000. We could see $1,000, we could see $1,200, we could see $2,000, we could see $2,400, we could see a little over $2,000, we could see upwards of $3,000 even per person, okay? So some of the names of those pieces of legislation you've heard me talk about include, but are not limited to, American Consumer Rebate Act of 2026, okay, so that's one of them. The other one is Tariff Refund Act. Tariff Refunds for Working Families Act. I apologize. That's another one. And then we have Make Billionaires Pay Their Fair Share Act, right? That's another one. But anyway, these are just 3 of them that are also out there, not to mention the other ones that are out there that have been introduced by governors and many other people within, Congress and lawmakers that have talked about anywhere between $1,700 and even $1,745 as refund payments. Now, that does not have a specific name yet, but that's a totally another one that has not been officially proposed yet, but that one's been out there and getting a bunch of support. So there's a bunch of these ideas, proposals, and plans out there to distribute thousands of dollars per person in the form of rebates, refunds, stimulus, dividend, distribution, whatever you want to call it. There's a lot of these that are out there, okay? Anyway, where are we currently at with all this? Well, it's a good question. As of right now, to be fair with you, they're not moving forward with a whole lot of anything at this exact moment. However, did we anticipate them to move forward right now, kind of, again, as I film this video, late April right now of 2026, did we expect them to move forward right now in the late April of 2026? To be fair, no, we actually didn't, right? Based on what the president said and based on the Supreme Court ruling back in the middle of February, striking down the tariffs, we didn't anticipate them to actually be moving forward right now this time of year to distribute this money. They did indicate middle of the year. We're not quite there yet. We're still maybe, call it 2 months out from, say, the middle of the year or so, right? Give or take a little bit. So even though we've seen tons of these proposals, even though we've seen tons of these ideas to distribute money directly to us in the form of, again, rebates, refunds, tariff, refund payments, distributions, dividends, whatever you want to call it. Again, name does not matter. But we also didn't anticipate this right now, but rather in a few months, according to what they've said here. But again, just because they say it doesn't mean it's actually going to happen, right? I think we all recognize this. When lawmakers speak, don't hold your breath, right? I mean, I think we all recognize this at this point. When lawmakers say they're going to do something or they have a plan in place, we all recognize it could take a very long time for that to actually be brought into fruition because they work so slow and they're constantly on vacation, right? They're always running out of town, going on vacation. So anyway, these are a bunch of them that are out there, but I'm going to say this again, and I just want to make this very clear. Remember, the distribution, aside from a refund payment, because remember, the tariffs, we all paid a lot of money. I mean, like well over $1,000, in some instances over $2,000 just in the last year. The average household, again, according to the studies, and this is why they came up with that $1,700 number, is the studies have found in the last 1 year, we, on average, the average household has spent an additional $1,700 to $1,745 more in the last year because of the tariffs, okay? So remember this. Refund payment aside, if it happens to be some type of stimulus-induced payment to stimulate the overall economy, remember, they would do something like that in the form of a stimulus due to the economy slowing down and a way to kind of pump up the bubble again. That's the whole purpose of that. That's why they call them stimulus. That's why they call them EIP or economic impact payments. That's what that's all about, okay? So We could easily see some type of refund payment in an effort to get money back to us that we spent on higher prices due to the tariffs. That would be a refund payment. We could see some kind of rebate. Again, kind of the same thing here. We're basically, hey, you guys spent a bunch of money. We're going to send you a bunch of money back. We're going to call it a rebate, something like that. We could see some type of stimulus payment in the form of, hey, the economy's not doing great. We need to pump this thing up. We need to reinflate the bubble, and we need to get the economy back on track. We could offer some type of stimulus payment or something like that. So there's many different options that we have at our disposal right now as far as the distribution of money. But I'm just going to say this. Last time I checked, I'm not sure about you, I couldn't care less about the name or the reason in which they distribute money. Call it a refund, call it a rebate, call it a stimulus. I don't really care. Money's money, right? It doesn't really matter the name, in my opinion. It just doesn't matter. But these are some of them that are out there. But again, unfortunately, we are sitting at the mercy of lawmakers, and we know they are notoriously very, very slow.